Right, hello. I realise I don't. Right, hello. I realise I don't. There we go. Right, hopefully that's that sorted. Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. And I've got some music and stuff. Let me know if it's working in the chat. Never tried doing this before, so yeah. Is that even a live? Are we looking at a live picture? No, because I'm picking up the mini and it's still on my screen. Check. Has my camera got bored? That's why we have no camera. Sorry, just trying to fix the camera because for some reason the camera's just gone nah, mate. Oh, we might be in business. Oh, I can see movement. I think we're in business. We are in business. Right. Technical issues averted. Hello. Hi. Hi, that's probably quite scary. Hello. Hello. Oh, I've knocked him over. Right. So I've never tried doing anything like this before. So I thought we would paint this little dude. So what I've already done is sprayed using my lovely airbrush. I basically primed it and then highlighted it. Primed it, highlighted it, and done a base kind of blue colour, which obviously then we'll add detail to. Oh, where do I need to? Right here. Right, this is going to take some getting used to. Also, the focus is because it's going to constantly try and focus on my hand. So what we should do is lock the focus off while it's focused on. There we go. And now, but then it's sod it. We'll go with it. We'll just assume everything's going to work. So, yeah, I did all the prep basically, which I know would have been exciting probably to look at, especially with an airbrush and stuff because airbrushes are fun. So basically prep work, it was like this, similar to this mini where I base coated it. Come on, there we go. Base coated it and highlighted. Now what I'm going to do is basically similar to what I did with this one. Here's what I made earlier. So this is just a little slightly different space dude, space marine, whatever. I'm not really big on Warhammer, so I'm not try to show him off, but the camera's just not wanting to focus. There we go. Yeah, so just doing all the detailing I've done with him. I was really happy with how his backpack kind of came out. I was like, come on. There we go. Yeah, there you go. You can see he's like rust on his backpack. I think that looks really cool. Lots of nice little details. So basically we're going to do that. But with this guy, who has a big knife and a little gun, a little pistol. So yeah, basically going to do exactly what I did with that. So I'm going to start with the same details that I started getting used to this whole doing things to camera. So I'm going to start with that. So first of all, let me put some water in my pot. I'm being very lazy and just using a bottle of water that I've got. The hand, sorry about the noise. And then I tend to, sorry, just because I find it does clean the brush a bit better. Put a glug of airbrush cleaner in the water as well, just because it just helps clean the brush off. The camera's really not enjoying focusing on this dude, is it? Oh well, we'll just muddle on as best we can. But yeah, so I'm going to try and do the detail. Hopefully you'll be able to see. I've got the chat up. I'll try and remember to keep looking at it. But yeah, feel free to come in and say hi and stuff, and we'll chat and we will just have a nice chill time. So I think I'm going to use this brush for probably most of the detailing because it's got a lovely fine point on it. Here we go, that's the YouTuber thing, isn't it? There you go, you see it's got a nice fine point on it. It is generic brand, cheap brush because I don't have any expensive brushes yet. But this one seems to have a nice point on it. These seem to keep like a nice point on them for like a little while, but they do go very quick. So I did the other guy with like a bronzy base coat, but for this guy I think I'm going to use this one just because I like the colour of it a bit more. So we're going to use that just to do the details. Most of my paints are Citadel colour because again I just get what I can get in shops. So yeah, and for these details I have got a little wet palette here. I mean we could, if we want, we could zoom out a bit more. That might help. Let's see what's going on. We'll turn the wet palette round there. You might be able to kind of see it a bit more, see what I'm kind of using. If I use this corner here. But when I'm doing like fine details, like, so I'm going to do like the lines on his armor here and his chest bit. With that, I'm probably just going to go just tiny dip straight out the lid of the pot, because that's why these pots are kind of made like this, so you can just kind of go dip 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 in the pot. Ooh, that's fine. I need to focus on this. This is my center mark. And then it's doing, oh, how can I? It's a shame I can't get the camera slightly more overhead. Well, maybe. Yeah. Hang on. Let's see if we can get the camera slightly more top down. Just lost the cooling fan for the camera there, so bear with me. These Sony cameras are great, but they do have nasty problems of overheating, especially when you're streaming with them. So hopefully it's a bit more of a top down. There we go. It's a bit more top down, isn't it? Right. Where's our center? The center is kind of this mark here. So yeah, let's crack on. So yeah, just enjoy chilling really. So it's tiniest bit of paint on the brush. I'm just gonna come in and start painting his little. It's really hard to bring things to a camera. Ooh. Start painting these little pauldrons. Let me just wet that a little bit from that. It's a bit too much paint there. And I'm not a particularly good painter, it has to be said. But I'm very much enjoying it at the moment. It's just something I'm finding very relaxing. Never mind. Oh. I went a bit over on his thing there. Might be able to cover that up with a bit of black later. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably gonna because the paint's dry really quick. I'll have to cover that up a bit later on, but it's fine. We'll cope. These are literally this is literally the second Space Marine I've ever painted. So, and the only reason I started painting these is because it felt like a bit of a mini painting rite of passage. Obviously, so many people who do this are into playing Warhammer and stuff. I've played it once, I think, a long time ago, and I remember, without throwing shade on anyone who does enjoy it, I remember getting intensely bored. Come on, focus. Hello. Right, can we put a focus point in the middle of the screen when we can? So, yes, we can. Right, so we've got a focus tracking there. So that should mean if I now put my mini in the middle of the shot, it should focus on there. So what we should do is put a little. Where's the middle of shot? Here. There we go. So hopefully it should focus on that cross. Or will it? There's a whole new realm of live streaming that I've never dealt with. I've told it to focus on that cross now. So if I put something there, it'll hopefully What I could also do is really reduce the aperture of the camera, because I've realised I've got the aperture far too high. Let's try that. A slightly better aperture. There we go. Yeah, it's not struggling so much now. Right, onwards. The thing I found as well helps me the most. Let's also use a quick grip here. The thing that I found that helps me the most is just not being scared of the minis. So just, you know, be willing to mess it up. Because you can always, you know, you can reprime and repaint. So if you do mess it up, it's really not the end of the world. Camera's having some real issues, isn't it? Almost like I've tried to use too good a camera. This kind of... This won't work. You'll notice how shaky my hand is as well when I'm doing this. It's just finding somewhere to steady. Okay, we're going manual focus because this focusing is a nightmare. So the model's going to probably sit about there. No, other way. There we go. A bit wider on the aperture as well. That's fine. That works. Right, cool. These are the hard. Sorry, I'm going to have to block the model off while I get over this because these are the awkward ones to get to because they're kind of up underneath his rucksack. As of course I got some gold. That's fine, because we're going to paint the rucksack later anyway. There will be
a lot of chances for us to hide the crimes later.
It's got more gold in his rucksack.
Or jetpack. Actually looks like a jetpack.
No, do Space Marines have jetpacks? Is that a thing?
Like I say, I know nothing about Warhammer.
I know Henry Cavill's into it.
Right, there we go. That's his shoulder things done.
Yes, let's do his little chest thing next.
Well, the big painters say they don't like the Citadel metallics, but I've never had an issue with them. Actually, this one seems to shine up lovely. Did I do little eyes on the skull? I can't remember. Let's check the other one in a minute. One of the things I found I love doing is putting a bit of a metallic, like a nice bright silver. Although in this instance, if I do what I'm thinking of doing, we'll use the gold. In like on like a jewel or anything that you imagine would be like a jewel or an embellishment. Put the metallic behind it, and then over the top of the metallic, then using the blood for the blood god technical paint, because it's like a blood red paint, but it stays wet. So it doesn't stay wet, but it stays looking wet. So the idea is it looks like, you know, fresh blood. And I love putting that over metallics because it looks like rubies.
There we go. It's a slightly better job of his little armor thing. That they look so much better on camera than they do in real life. Right, did I put little dots? No, I didn't. I just put dots. I put dots on his eyes, but I did that with a normal red. Although I think this guy's not got like a helmet, he's got like a mask. I did have in the set some spare bits, so I didn't know it was a thing. Like with like a grenade, and had a grenade and then an empty hand, and then a helmet version. And I'm assuming that's so you could give this guy a helmet as well if you wanted to. I don't know what the deal is with these knee things, if you're meant to paint them gold or not. I like them gold because I just like the odd little bit of interest, so whether it's right or not, bollocks. Bit of shiny key telling that. Right, there we go. The eyeshadow brush, eyeliner brush comes to the rescue.
Let me know if sound's alright and stuff, because obviously my microphone is a lot further away than I tend to have it. So just reassure me that sound levels are good. And obviously to say hi as well if you are watching. It's always nice to chat to people while I'm doing this kind of stuff. Maybe you know a lot about Warhammer. Tell me about all the things I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing. And I will choose likely not to care. But I will still listen and acknowledge your concern for my lack of respect for the law. Apparently the new Space Marines, well, newer Space Marines game, apparently is very good. To be honest, it did just look like Years of War. But what do I know? Right, so what else did I gold on this dude? Did these. I did a bit there, but on this guy, I'm gonna say that's his hair. His mask I did. Okay, well, let's do his mask gold as well. Then. Let's do a little brush wash. I've got a lot on there, but let's get our point back. It's going to be fun when it gets to doing the skin later and having to avoid what we've painted so far, because that's the other thing is I never really know what order to do this in. I very much just kind of wing it. There we go, it's this little mask done as well. Cool, he's coming together. He's coming together nice. Oh, it's putting in the camera in. It's coming together nicely. So I think that's probably us done with the gold for now. What have we? What else do we need? Oh, any seals that we need to. Oh, he's got one there on his gun. Oh, he's like pistol holder. No others that I can see. Oh yeah, typically I've just spotted somewhere else I would have liked to have done a bit of gold detailing. So that all I remember, let's just do it, otherwise I'm going to forget. which is just the end of his sheath for his knife. Oh, painting off camera again. Good work. I'm learning. Yes. I'll do that. Had a good one earlier where closing the lid of it was this one, Horror Pink, or Pink Horror. It was a brand new paint, and as such there was quite a lot of it sitting on the like this lid bit, you know, the sticky outy bit. And it just, when I closed it, it just splattered everywhere, as you can see. Obviously some pink smudges on my desk. Splattered it absolutely everywhere. And luckily, it all missed the actual model I was painting. God knows how. Let's do the handguard of his knife gold as well. And then the knife itself, has it got a pommel? Or it has got a pommel. We should do that as well. And then the actual knife will do silver. Also, the music is going to be weird and random because it's royalty free, and I just literally picked the first royalty free album that pops up. So it could be an eclectic mix of utter weirdness. So I apologise for that. Sorry, painting off stream again. Oh, this is a hard skill to learn. I don't know how. Professional paint tubers. That's even a thing. How they do this and keep it in frame the whole time. Right, I don't think there's any other bits I want to do gold. I think everything else I'm quite happy to yeah, everything else I'm quite happy for it to be either just other colours now. I was trying. My brain couldn't think of the phrase for not gold. Of course, other colours or not gold. Right, where was that seal? Let's put it there. Let's do that next. We've got some good coats. Like a layer. What colour should we use seal? We can kind of put any colour we want, really. This went on really nice. What's it called? Screamer pink. It's not particularly pink. Oh, excuse me, but I enjoy the colour it is. Like a, I don't know what it is, but it's nice and I like it. So we're going to use that. Memory serves, I did paint. The other one's pistol thing. Oops. Leather. There we go. Literally the only thing I want that for. It's just to do that. I'm not doing quite as fine a detail now, so I'm going to switch to a slightly different brush. Something maybe not as fine. More along those lines, I think. So it's still got a good point, but it's not like ridiculously fine. Right, I like the old wraith bone or whatever for the material of the seals. The fact that I know that they're called seals and not medals shows that I do at least, know something about the old Warhammer thing. These tend to need a couple of coats because obviously we're going onto a black. Royalty-free screamer, apparently. Right, hopefully now we can go over the first coat. There we go, it's actually going nice and opaque then.
There we go. That's a little seal thing. And do I have this Kislev flesh? That's the colour we're going to be using for his skin. So it's stamped. It's not still on the black. Well, and the blue. So this is going to be fun because
I'm going to end up, I guarantee, going to end up painting over what I've already done. I'm not too worried if I accidentally paint over whatever this head implant thing is. So we can pick that out. But I seem to actually doing quite a good job of getting around it. Oh no, there we go, gone.
sometimes they look great. They stay open really well. And sometimes they just don't want to play ball. I need to think what I'm going to do his little mohawky thing he's got going on. Do we go outlandish with it or do we keep it simple? Right, I'm thinking, do we go with like just a straightforward black, brown, or do we give him like a really silly bright colour?
It's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Some things I don't hate is Mohawk blue, but obviously it's weird because his armor's blue. But we are going to change the Mohawk. But to what, I'm still undecided. Need to pick out the thing on his head. So this is going to be fun because this is going to be a really precise. So I've got barely any paint on my brush, literally on the very tip here. Oh, we made that worse. Yeah, he's got one weird eyebrow now. Oh well. I think I'm just going to go the straightforward black with the Mohawk because I think that's what's just going to look best. Trying to tidy up. These little over paint on the shoulder things. Go, hiding the crimes. You can do that one because it's more on the blue. Definitely tidied that up on that side. Nice. Black. Keep the black. Yeah, I'll say keep it handy, but then all my paint's handy because we're like a little paint rack thing that I printed. Right. So what have where are we at? Gun. There's my old lead belcher. I like this one for most gun type things. It's just a cool colour. Could actually do just the top part of this gun silver. And then we're going to do a different colour.
No, it's a different colour. It's going to be black, isn't it? Painting on stream again. What I love about doing this is as you just crack on and do it, the little model more and more slowly starts to come to life. Like, it just looks like a thing rather than just a lump of plastic. I find that just inherently satisfying. And again, I just have one of those dexterity failure moments when my hand just goes, I don't want to hand anymore. Just painted the barrel a little bit. Wanted to try and avoid painting the barrel, so I was going to do that black. But it's fine. We'll just paint over it. Trying to see the shape on the other side, which I think is just the opposite of what we've already done, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I want to do the same on to the gun. So again, this looks like some sort of flamethrower, isn't it? These brushes, considering I have no recollection of where I got them from, I just after I moved, just found them in my painting box. Judging by the packaging they were in, I feel like they might have been like a Temu buy or something just to make up an order. Do that with silver as well. They feel really good.
I'm sure they won't last very long. Compared to like proper nice artist opus ones or whatever. But I've ordered some Kalinsky brushes off Amazon, and they're meant to be pretty good. I will eventually get some of the artist opus ones, but don't currently have £150 to spend on paint brushes, which, whilst worth every penny, apparently, according to my friend Rachel, says they're very good and worth getting. I just don't have that kind of thing to spend on brushes. Cheers, I've just bought the airbrush, so I want to paint this little canister of the fuel a fun colour as well, because on the other model I didn't do that, and I'm looking at it now and I regret not doing that. Just trying to decide like which bits of this gun would be silver. What those are, but I've decided the top of them is going to be silver. And then of course we need to do his sword. I want to do sword with a different silver just to make it stand out. And then his backpack. I'm not going to paint, I'm going to dry brush that. Because that's what I did with the other one and it came out really nice. So, Rainbow don't fix it. No. Let's use that for the skull and crossbows like we did with the other model. I want the black back. I want this one. Because that's a layer. I want this one for his sword. Runefang Steel. I'd love to be at the meeting when they name these paints. It's the group of nerds who... Oh, I've got the silver out. Are there any other bits that I want to do? It's got like a little skull on it. I have no idea what that is hanging off the bottom of his gun. But I'm just going to do the bottom nubbin of it. I'm going to do a couple of, basically I'm going to do nubbins on it silver. Like the Call of Duty style weapon charm or something. If I was being really, really OCD about this, I could get my Dremel and drill the barrel out. Just can't be bothered. So I'm happy for the barrel just to be solid. Doing some of the little detail on the gun. Basically the various like magazine. Yeah, I'm really good at just catapulting brushes today. It's doing like the little magazine catches and the buttons and whatnot. Although it's really hard to see this side of the gun. That'll do. There's a little like rivet or something on his sword thing, so I'm just going to dot that. In a different colour. And then this little tank here, I want to paint with the brighter silver. Right, so that's done, that's done, that's done. Right. I think that's all the silver we're going to need. Well, that kind of silver anyway. Right, let's... How do I want to do the fuel thing? Maybe a different kind of blue. Yeah. Oh, new paint. This one goes everywhere. No, that one opens successfully. Yeah, don't hate that. If we paint over the details on it, because we can go over those. I'm hoping I am seeing chat messages. That's my thought. What put that over there? Whether or not there's anyone watching, I don't know. But if you are saying I'm happy with how this little dude's turning out. Oh, there's some buttons and things in there. That would have been a nice. That's the silver bit there, isn't it? I spotted that. And his arm. Dip my thumb in that. Great. I have a shoulder thumb now. Kitchen roll. What did you put some of that? You want some handy? Well, you know, that moment when you paint your thumb silver.
That's cool. I just spotted that. I'll leave that silver there in case I spot any more little bits. Need to refer to the go. What did I do with your? Oh, okay. I think Steel Legion drab. Yeah, this is what I used for all stuff. From what I remember, it did take a couple of coats because it's quite a watery paint. It's got a bit on his pouch thing. Guess we're painting those that colour as well now. Just find, to be fair, the pouches on this one are a little bit more visible than they were on the other one. Now I could paint the top of this as well, but that's going to be really hard to do. And you can't see it, so I'm not going to bother. There's absolutely no point in risking getting paint of a colour I don't want on something, so to avoid that happening, I'm just not going to give it a chance. And we'll probably do a wash on it, because with these armoured guys, I don't think a wash looks too bad. I like doing a wash at the end just to get in all those nooks and crannies and bring out the detail. I kind of do, when I do the wash, I very much do it how Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame weathers his things. I kind of like get a dry brush and a wet brush, and I paint the wash on and then immediately remove it, so it just gets in all the nooks and crannies and not on the main model. And then that way it just brings out all the little details without you really having to try, which I love. Okay. Right, so there's like a little leather strap there. Okay, we're going to paint his sword sheath. I think I might want it darker, actually. Let's give it a full coat of this and see where we end up. Have the top of it gold as well. I don't know, what do we think? Darker? Where are we? There we are. Yeah, I reckon that needs to be darker. So that is us done with that. Where's my old Rhinox hide? Good old Rhinox hide. The one I use for like shoes and types of things. Lovely dark. Right. What about other layers? To use this ball as the grip on his pistol on the gun. And I think I'm going to use it on the underneath of his gun as well. Like, whilst I don't ever think this would actually be a wooden foregrip. With what I have planned later, it will look good. So I'm not being terribly thorough or neat about it because I'm planning on painting over that with something else. Right, now we should be able to much better. Much prefer how that looks. Yeah. And on top I'm going to do gold and I'm going to add a black stripe to it. It's got a little bit of black detailing I want to do.
Right, so where else that wanted a bit of yeah, his gun. Now, and the straps on this, whatever this is. Oh, damn it, completely missed that bit. That's the problem when you're kind of painting on, or you're painting a sticky outy bit that's like runs under something. You kind of end up having to put in a lot of guesswork as to whether or not you think you're on it. I'm just not. That's where I fall down. Mini painter, my brush control is pretty poor. But I feel like I'm good enough to kind of have minis I've painted, and I can, if I wanted to play the actual game with them, I could, and I wouldn't feel too embarrassed about it. I did the other guy's boots, and I did like that. I just separated them from everything else. So. Got my scalpel on that base because there's a big old nipple in that. I don't usually care about basing or anything, so.
Should thin your paints. Actually, a little bit to be honest. I do usually thin some of the paints, but because I'm kind of just doing quick block detailing, I'm just going for using small amounts of paint on the brush. I've got a wet palette next to me, but to be honest, because I'm just being lazy, I'm not using it. But also, I'm pretty new to the whole world of mini painting. It's only like the 5th mini I've ever painted. But hence that I'm probably doing colour schemes all wrong and all sorts. But I don't really know about Warhammer, so I'm not trying to do necessarily any kind of colour scheme or anything. I'm just messing about. Anything? Oh no, black on his lip pistol, didn't I? Just kind of messing about, seeing what sticks, really. Well, it looks really good. I'm better than my first attempt. Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Yeah. I mean, this isn't my first attempt. Like I said, this is like number 5. Annoyingly, the first ever minis I painted got broken during my house move. So I no longer have those. If you're painting an ultramarine, it's good. Oh, is it? Okay. What's the? I don't know the difference between a normal marine and an ultramarine. I thought a marine was a marine. But I mean, I can show you what I did beforehand. So I've got an airbrush, and before I'd started it, I'd done like this with it, where I paint painted, primed it, and then done like a shade with highlights and stuff. Hence the fact I've got like a nice blend on his pads and on his armor. That's all the airbrush stuff, and then I'm just kind of detailing on top. But I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of going, okay, well, I like that there, and I like that there. Ultramarines are blue with gold trim. Oh, okay. So this was the other one I did, which was like, sorry, I'm rubbish at showing things to the camera. This was the first Marine I did him yesterday. Where are we? That way. And again, I'm probably not followed any kind of correct color scheme. I'm just messing about. Because I don't ever intend to use these to play the game. I just like painting them. I played the game once with a friend a long time ago, very long time ago. And I remember just getting to a point where he got loads of tape measures out. I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to paint it and then highlight it. He got loads of tape measures out and all sorts, and I was like, I want to attack you. And then I was, after about 20 minutes, I'm like, look, have I hit you or not? And he was like, no. And I'm like, okay, right. I'll be honest, I'm bored now. Whereas the only kind of thing I tend to play that kind of ilk is D&D. But I don't use miniatures when I play D&D. I just do it with pen and paper. I think. I just want to make the handle of the gun black. Let's see, that's right. I think that's all the black. Well, you might get flack from purists for not following the paint scheme, but I think painting the way you want is yeah, fine. I'm very much of that camp. I'm very much kind of like, hey, if it's a hobby and it's the thing you enjoy, you spent your money, you do what you want. Games Workshop get your money either way, whether, you could buy the monies and throw them away, Games Workshop still get the money. I mean, that'd be a real waste. Let's fix that blue where I've got that slight over paint. Yeah, problem solved. These from the start. Yeah, they are. Yeah, because I had the what was it? The dinosaur, not dinosaurs. Hang on, this thing. Hang on, where were they? The termagants. Termagants. I have no idea how you even pronounce them. I don't know. The artwork in the book's cool. It gives you a bit of the lore and stuff. Tyrannid. That's the one, Tyrannid. And I liked the Tyrannids I just saw and went, ooh, dinosaurs. Which, again, no matter, I imagine with most of what I say, every time I say something, Warhammer purist dies a little bit inside. But, ooh, dinosaurs. Was something else that I wanted to silver, and I spotted it, and then can't think what it was. I don't know. I'm just going to quickly paint the skull on that tank. Red. Even though I can barely see it, I did it red on the other one, and I liked that. Do it again. whilst I believe this guy's technically a higher rank, the guns they use are the same. So, that's what's got a pistol. But the big flamethrower thing was certainly the same as the other dude's big flamethrower thing. The red button there for fun. Anything else? Want a red button? No, maybe a few bits on his whatever this is. What other fun colours have we got to do his arm things? That one. Let's do whatever this is. This is a really old. Most people refer to them as NIDs. Oh, okay. That just sounds rude. I don't know if that sounds horrible. It sounds like some kind of horrible racial slur. I mean, I know obviously it isn't. But it sounds like it should be offensive. Oh, this is an old paint. Is there anything else I want to do other than now just dry brush? Oh, sorry. I got this out. Why did I get this out? I feel like there was something I wanted to silver and I couldn't remember what. No, that's fine. Not overdo it. Right. This sergeant, so if he had a helmet, it would be accurate to the paint helmet. Red twin. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, it came with, in the box, another head, which presumably was for him, with a helmet on it. And then another set of hands that had like a grenade and I think an empty hand or something. So you had options, but I didn't notice those until after I'd already built it. Horrific hive minds that literally consume worlds of their biomass. Oh, kind of like humans then. That's it. Backpack. That's what we were doing. Right. So now my favourite bit, dry brushing time. So what I did initially was silver. Done that too far now. Damn it. Push that. Come on, back you go. Oh, there's the right way to get that back, isn't it? Have I balls this one forever now? Oh. There we go. Brute force and ignorance. Someone will also have a little skull on the front. I can tell you. Until I throw it away. I've probably still got the sprue with it on somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Right, here we go. His helmet here. Yeah, I'll just snap it off the sprue and we can have a look. Maybe it was for one of the other guys, but he's the only one who doesn't have a helmet, so I assumed the spell helmet was for him. Where'd it go? His skull, it looks pretty similar to the other ones. But you can always paint it on, I guess. Part of me thinks I should like cut the bottom of that and turn it into like a severed marine head. It feels mean throwing his drill head away, so we'll keep that for practical head purposes. That sounds rude. Yeah. This dry paint farts. Right, now we're gonna use my wet palette hilariously for dry paint, but just because I want to take most of it off my brush. I love this kind of painting where it requires little to no skill
and you end up with such an effective, like, it just works. You look at this weird. I just always think it looks really good. Like damage and some scenery to the base. Yeah, I've not really experimented with like basing and stuff. Because like I said, I just tend I don't know if that's maybe the end goal is just to collect a load and build like a diorama or something. I don't really know. I don't really have an end goal other than just practice painting. Because I know there's probably a lot of stuff I do that isn't the best way of doing things. I've never had any kind of lessons. I watched a few YouTube tutorials. Other than that, it was painting on his belt like he's taking it off. Oh, that's not a bad shout. Don't know where I'd put it. His belt's quite busy. I'm not that clever. If I was a more talented painter or modeler, then I would be able to do these things. So I'm not. Right, so that's the silver dry washing. Then I added some, what did I use the other day that added like a bit of this? Was it this? Yeah, the rust. I just really liked how this looked. But this is for a dry paint, this one's quite wet, so what I ended up doing was getting rid of most of what was on the brush. So then when I came in with the brush, literally, there we go. I just think that's so effective for something so simple. I'm doing some, yeah, just little dry brushing bits. But this rust stuff, it is just like absolute fave. Just to add some like texture and weathering to things. I know that backpack's got texture to it now, or you know, it's wrong word. A sponge. See, I found what works really well these eye makeup brushes because they've got quite stiff bristles, so you get really good. And they're really cheap, although the nice set of brushes I want to eventually get has got a proper set of dry brushes in. Now, pretty happy with that. Final step though is, do we get the old shade on it? Because I do like the shades, but you sometimes make it for English plus second. Like, oh no worries, no, I wouldn't have. Unless you pointed that out, I wouldn't have noticed. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm just gonna bob on a shade in the way I like to do shades, which is probably going to upset some people because it's not how I imagine it's recommended to do it. And basically what I do is I just bung a load on and then immediately sponge it off.
Da-da-da-da-da. The whole thing. Grab and picked out. But what I'm also going to do is turn on my airbrush. Apologies if this is noisy. I've not got a quiet compressor. I'm just going to no painting here. I'm just literally blasting the shade out of places I don't want it. Mainly around his head and neck. Everywhere else, I'm fine with it. Right, there we go. Done and done. Compressor. Give you advice. Really time a friend gave me when I started making the next model. Try something bigger. It's a lot easier. Techniques are bigger. Yeah. Well, I've got at some point this, which is my eldest's D&D character to paint, which I printed off the other day. Again, I've just done a little like base and highlight on it, just to kind of. I like doing those because it kind of lets me figure out like how the light would fall on it. So I've got that, which I'm going to paint at some point. But I was just in a shop buying some paints the other day, and I saw the starter kit and thought, do you know what? I felt like painting a Space Marine. Sort of felt a bit like or an Ultramarine or whichever Marine it is. To me, it felt a bit like a kind of painter's rite of passage. Having never painted one before. So there we go. So that is let's see if we can. I'll tell you what, we should be able to. Let's zoom right in because it's barely using the zoom on this. Where are we? Where are we? There. Oh wait, I put a mark on the table, didn't I? I'm an idiot. And then let's focus her up. Tabaxi, it's a Tabaxi Druid she's gone with. Yeah, his face is pants, but then I'm always cack at faces. But overall, do you know what? He's not too shabby. He's all right. The backpack jetpack thing's my favourite bit, as always. I don't know why. And that the guns come out really nice, actually. It's a bit of shade, so guns come out really nice. That rust kind of thing. That rust dry brush is like my favourite dry thing, especially once you apply it over anything metallic. It just looks so good. And then if we compare him to the other dude I did yesterday, pretty similar really. He's not as bright on his shoulder detailing, but I purposely did him with a bronze rather than a gold because my theory was he's a lower rank, so he gets bronze. But other than that, it's pretty similar. And I'm sure there's probably a colour I was supposed to do the seals and whatnot, but I've not done them that colour because I don't know. And then this was the first one I did when I got to the new house, just to practice some dry brushing with. So it's entirely dry brush. There's no actual painting done on that, apart from his eyes. But that was just me messing about with a dry brush because I thought that was a really good model to just try some dry brushing on, just like a kind of little cyborg dude. Which was one I printed off. It's not from anything. And then one of my friends' D&D characters, they wanted a mini, so again, I'm rubbish at faces, so I've not really bothered with the face. What I want to do though is brighten up these Eldritch Blasts a bit. But I'm wondering if we're better off using I don't know, something like that might be better for them. Don't know, really. Jetpacks. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on how the Eldritch Blast looks. It's a bit, I don't know, it looks a bit organic. Well, magical. So, I don't know. Do you think, opinion, should I do the Eldritch Blast blue? Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've got my glasses on now, but I also don't have... I do have brushes that can do it. I don't have the skill. Really don't know what to do about this. Do I paint those different colour? Or do I just leave them? Their patron in the one we play it with is we have them down as Cthulhu because my usual game that I play is Call of Cthulhu. It's my favourite kind of go-to TTRPG. So their patron is Cthulhu. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still... I'll sleep on it, I think. Because a part of me just think it looks a bit... I don't know. They look like branches. They're not glowy enough. What I need is like some cool glow-in-the-dark UV paint. That's what I need. Something like that, but then maybe mixed with some white. I mean, usually with a Cthulhu, I do kind of, I don't know, purpley, greeny ocean, isn't it? So, but Eldritch Energy, I usually would say blue. Right, I'm going to mix up like a lighter version of this. So we'll get the dry palette involved, and the wet palette even. The dry wet palette, the wet palette. Trying to get that in camera so you can see the colour I'm making. There we go. There's plenty of that to work with. That's fine. And then I'm going to use a completely different brand for the white, but that's just because I think their eyes the same colour as their... Yeah, I thought about that. Doing the eyes the same colour. I'm using this because it's, even though it's a different brand of paint, it's got a dropper bottle, which is so much easier than trying to mess about with the Citadel ones that do not have the drop bottle. I don't hate that colour. Oh, yeah, no, quite like that. Let's follow my vision. Yes, but you assume I have a vision. Let's zoom back out a bit. Right. Yeah, I think that's going to look better. And then Yeah, I'm already happier with how that looks. I'd like to use the airbrush more when I'm actually doing like the main mini painting. I'm not very good with it. I don't really trust myself to do anything that I'm not going to paint over. There we go. Yeah, I think it stands out more. It's a bit comic booky and stuff, but because it stands out more, I kind of prefer it. When you can, especially seeing the two side by side. It's annoying because it's similar colour to the, well, it was a similar colour to the table. Can't remember why the wicked I played. Drow mages, so it's ended up with the character that could one-shot most enemies. It depends what you're using in the airbrush. If you're just using water-based non-toxic acrylics, then you don't tend to need a respirator. It's only if you're using solvent, anything solvent-based. Then yeah, obviously, if you're using solvent-based paints, then you definitely want to use a respirator if you're using an airbrush. But if you're just using water-based acrylics, then you're absolutely golden. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't recommend spraying it directly into your gob, but I mean, you know, like a lot of painters, I regularly, after washing my paintbrushes, lick it to get a point back to it. And, you know, I'm doing that with water that's got acrylic paint in it. So. Yeah, anything solvent-based bad. But most of your citadels and army paints and things like that, they're all like your Vallejo, is it? Vallejo? They're all non-toxic, so I wouldn't recommend drinking them, but and then in terms of when you clean your airbrush out, I've got like a special pot that you spray it into that stops it being airborne. When I used to use can spray, you know, rattle can primers, you know, and those, when I use that stuff, then yeah, definitely would have a respirator on the go. When I used to use can spray, you know, and before I could afford a respirator, I'd just do it outside against the wind. So Yeah, I much prefer that blue. I'm glad I did that. That's made me happier. That's some white edge highlights. See, now you're getting into territory of makes a lot of sense, but also yeah, you're assuming I can do it. What I need to do is now sort the horns out because the horns are almost sort of weird. I'm just going to do horns. I've got some like browny red already on my thing, so I'm just going to not the biggest fan of that colour. Needs more black. Not enough black. This is I don't. I'm a very lazy painter because I don't really mess about with mixing colours all that much, and I really should. That's better. That's more the colour I want. Do you have any Null Nile? I do have Null Nile. That's what I used. The shirt. That's what I used for. It's the marine. Once I'd finished painting it. I really don't know what this music is doing, but it's very royalty free, so. Right, now. I like what you said about the eyes with the thing, so. Maybe swap one of my teeny tiny paintbrushes. This tiny one here. See if we can get the eye. Okay, here we go. Let's go for it. Let's try and do it. I can't even see where they are. Yeah, it's not great, but it's because I'm very shaky. There's now a suggestion of eyes. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean into the kind of parry thing of it and make it so that it's not necessarily as strict. Yeah, that's not bad. Doesn't really read on camera, but in real life it looks good. Yeah, don't hate that. It gives the face a little bit of definition. And then what we could try and do is, what you say, some edge highlighting. Would you do the edge highlighting with white, or would you do it with like a silver? There we go. I've got a brand new Corax white that I've not even opened yet. It's not even shook up. I'm going to have some paint shaking ASMR. Face the helmet's problems and backwards last. Yeah, fine. Oh, I used to have a little mixy thing, but again, it broke after about. It's a really cheap, nasty one of Amazon. It broke after about a week. Right. Well, the paint's really thin. Tiniest amount on my brush. Let's try. What's the second to do it? The brush splits. I don't know why I'm worried about it following light, because it's magic. In theory, it's generating its own light. I don't hate it. I hate doing it. But I don't hate how it looks. It's just really hard to... My hand is so shaky. Yeah, I know it looks like I'm kind of... I would mix it more. If I was using it for anything else, I would mix it more, but I kind of want it... I quite like that thickness, and it is going on quite nicely. So I'm not going to mess with it. I would mix it more. If I was using it for anything else, I would mix it more, but I kind of want it. I quite like that thickness. That's not part of the spell. That's a support that I didn't take off, but oh well. I don't know, that just that is giving it a bit of something. That's looking already loads better than it was. It's giving it like some texture. I don't hate that. Yeah, it looks all right. I'm okay with how it turned out. Thank you very much for the advice. Is there anything else we can do to... Because I've got this, which I was thinking about using somewhere on it, but I don't... Again, I don't really understand it, so... I don't know, but... Compared to how that did look, I'm much happier with that. Yeah, it's as much as I probably don't want to, because it'll reveal how terrible it looks. Yeah, the eyes are pretty terrible. But they're glowing, so of course they're terrible. Part of me wonders if I had because I've got like an old crappy brush like this one. I did like a little dry brush of like white, like a white dry brush around the eyes. Would that make it look like it was glowing, or would that not even a... Let's try this. We can always fix it if we don't. Let's do it. Don't even do anything. No, didn't even really do anything. Oh, well, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's literally just for a tabletop game that I'm playing on Saturday. and I'm doing it as more of a laugh for a mate rather than trying to do anything serious. The eyes look good. Yeah, they're fine. I need to stop caring. Yeah, that way, that way. I'm not used to holding things this close to... Well, camera's actually quite far away. It's got a big old lens on it. Yeah, no, do you know what? I'm really happy with how the Eldritch Blasts look now. They've got a bit of texture and stuff to them, and I like that. Yeah, I enjoy that texture. Cool. How long have you been into Warhammer? I'm very much kind of very not into Warhammer, hilariously. I'm into painting minis. So I know literally nothing about Warhammer, other than apparently the last video game was meant to be quite good. White with a speed paint, yeah. But yeah, Lucky Knife. Sorry if you are a Warhammer purist, but yeah, I've not been into it really at all. I'm very much a novice painter and just more in it for the joy of just painting stuff. So, you know, behold some Ultramarines, as I've been told they are, rather than just your standard Space Marines. But yeah. That's what we've painted today in this stream. So I'm pretty happy with him. A little bit of detail, I like it. And on that note, that's as zoomed out as I can get with this camera. On that note, I'm going to wrap up, I think. So yeah, there we go. That's been the fruit of my week. But yeah, so thanks for joining. Never picked up a miniature before that. Just had my first tabletop game last Sunday. Oh, fab. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. That's the main thing with all these things, is that they're fun and you enjoy doing them. Whether that be actually playing it or painting it or whatever you choose to do with it, you know, if you're into the hobby, then enjoy it. I'm basically a forever DM, whatever that is. That looks gross. Forever a DM keeper. I tend to run TTRPGs. On Saturday, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons for the second time with my children. But I've invited a load of my friends along to come play with them. And one of them is playing as Tiefling Warlock, hence the fact I've painted them this little miniature to use. I do have some other, so that's a miniature of my daughter's character. Although it's a lot easier to see when you look at the big version of it. There we go. Indeed, fun is all that matters for all of these things. So yeah. And I'm finding it very fun. I'm finding it very relaxing. And I think that's the main thing, is just how mindful it is and how chilled out it is. Certainly one of the first hobbies I've found that has a lot of just focus, because you're concentrating on something. It just makes it, you just zone out, and suddenly you've been painting for 6 hours. I've literally, my day has been painting 2 minis. I painted that Tiefling Warlock and that Ultramarine. That's been my day. So yeah. And then I've got, who else have I got? I've got one of my old D&D characters that I've not painted yet. That's still in its printed out state. Do I have a bigger version of that? Oh, I do have a bigger version that I started painting and then realised I kind of preferred using a black primer. But, you know, I've started blocking out colours for it, so I'm going to crack on and finish it. And I've got another one that I've started priming and then ran out of, then my old airbrush broke. So I need to finish priming that one, because it's, as you can see, it's still not great. And then again, this is one of the ones where, oh, wow, the microphone, where I didn't realise I preferred black primer, so this was white. And I did attempt to do the horse using the airbrush, but this was my old airbrush that wasn't very good, hence it's very shiny and very not good. So I might end up either stripping these and re-priming them, or seeing if I can get away with just priming them. To be fair, because I 3D print them myself, a lot of the time I can't be bothered to strip them. I'll just reprint them and then give these ones to the kids to paint or whatever, you know, just so they can practice painting stuff. Because, you know, they've got slightly bigger, chunkier stuff to practice with. Sorry, I'm as zoomed out as I can with this camera because I've got a 70 to 200 lens on it. But yeah, I've got a couple more of these dudes to detail. I really enjoy the shading with the airbrush. I forget my horrifically bad job. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people do use painting as a good kind of, like I say, it's just very mindful, isn't it? And then I've got all the nids to build. There we go. Look, I'm using the lingo now. Got all the, they're still all, you know, they're still all sprue based at the moment. I've not even put those together yet. And the starter set does technically come with everything you need to run a little game, but I'll be honest, I probably won't ever do that. I'll probably just paint them, and then I will probably use the nids as Tarasques or something in D&D. Or maybe I'll just bring nids into D&D and I'll make up a stat block for them. I don't know how I bring Space Marines into it. They're a bit modern, but I don't know. The big yeah, I'll tell you what, let's do a bit of a show and tell while I've got y'all. My big project that I'm working on at the moment is, yes. Sorry, just grabbing a big old box. Recently taken delivery of this, which isn't going to even fit in frame. How are we going to fit this in frame? I've moved the camera further away. That camera is as zoomed out as it'll go, I think. 2 seconds. Got a different lens on the camera. Choice of using proper DSLR to video. Where's the button? So I'm going to go weird picture for a sec. Oh wait, the lens is potentially the tripod. Didn't think about that. Think. Let's look at the camera. There we go, handheld. So if you can see that, there we go. Batman, Gotham City Chronicles, the role-playing game. It's huge. It's a massive box. Oh. Right. Do you know what? I'm going to switch lens because this is going to be easier. So give me 2 seconds. Let's just do this. Let's take that off there, put that on there instead. I'm a professional. There you go, put that on there. Put that back on the tripod. That'll hold the camera now, and then I should be able to press that. Unlens it. There you go, see it. Sorry, you can see a big blurry white mess. Off. There we go. There we go. You can see the whole desk now. Well, more or less the whole desk. You can see my lovely 3D painted, organised paint. Right. Hello. Yes, we're back. So yeah, I've switched to this lens because basically this is the Batman tabletop RPG. It was on Kickstarter. I think, is it Monolith Games? I want to say Monolith Games. Yeah, Monolith Games. And it comes. I basically bought the top end box because I'm a nerd and I like collecting board games. So what this comes with. Oh, each of these is over 125. It's 127, I think. 127 little minis of pretty much every character in Batman lore to paint with. And then obviously you've got the standard books as well. But yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a project at some point. Is going to be, oh look, we can do this. Hello. So that's going to be a project at some point, is painting the rest of those. I literally have a table with newspapers. To be fair, I did have that at the old place, but because of the joys of having a 3D printer, I was able to obviously make these organisers. There you go, we can give you a... Now I've got the other lens on the camera, I can give you a proper view of the desk setup. So ignore that horrible extension cable. We got compressor, air gun thing, and then again a paintbrush rack that I printed, paint racks that I printed, and then I've got a nice photography light. So yeah, that's my little painting desk, and this is very much a temporary setup. That because I had this table going spare. Those minis resin or FDM printed on the desk. So the ones that I printed here, like these ones, these are all resin. Because I've got an FDM printer, which is what I use to print like the rack, the rack and stuff, and then I've got a resin one which I use mainly for doing minis. Careful my phone doesn't fall off. It's fine, it's on a carpet. But yeah, so but yeah, so that's kind of my little nerdy setup, and then of course obviously the standard Citadel paint handle / butt plug, which is, I still think, the best one of these. I've not really found another mini holder for while you're painting that holds them quite as well / as cheaply as this. These are only like £8. And they do a bigger one for holding like minis that size. Middies. I don't know, what are they? Because they're not minis. They're just figurines, I guess. So yeah, I did try printing a mini. Well, not mini. I did try printing. I tried doing something on an FDM one because I got a 2mm nozzle and thought, so that's it, resin. Like a Geralt for Witcher. I think I can zoom back in again. There we go. Where are we now? We're kind of up by here. So that's like a Geralt Witcher type thing with some sort of creature that I need to paint at some point. And that's the resin version. And then I printed the same thing a lot bigger. Now the base, the rock thing, that came out great. There. Well happy with how that came out. And then you Gerald of Rivia. I know it's Geralt, but I like calling him Gerald. On there. And it came out £13 to give it also attempts makeshift handle. The other thing people I've seen use as makeshift handle is a cork. Like you get a big lump of cork. So one of the things apparently IKEA do like glass bottles with a big cork in the top. And that cork, they're like 50p for the bottle. And that cork is really good for using as a mini thing. Yeah, the only thing that came out slightly dodge was his sword. It's got like this weird kind of twisty thing going. But with it being Witcher, I thought I could work that into something. And that bit of his sword snapped off. So yeah, the details not bad, considering it's an FDM printer, which are not known for detail. But things like his, you know, the little texture on his armor and stuff that still come out, which is really cool. Let's stick Geralt back over there. And then like that was on the FDM one as well, just a little random Cthulhu figurine, which I did one of these before and I just dry brushed it and it looked quite cool. I made a dice tower and just dry brushed it and that looked really cool. But then yeah, because sometimes you just want a bulbous Cthulhu head. I think looking at the text, I think this was printed with ABS, which is not great fun because it's toxic when you print it. It's also the hands and paws. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. Still waiting for my A1 miniature. Yeah, they're great. So the one at the FDM printer I have is a Bambi Labs, and they honestly are the best. I've had 3 3D printers over my history as a nerd, and the Bamboo Labs is, I'm going to leave you looking at the paint because it's much nicer than me, is by far the best one I've had. I've got the X1C, the X1 Carbon. It's the one where it's got like the material thing floating on the top of it. And I think actually there might be some figurine. Here we go. Look, we could, while we're chatting, we can sit and remove some supports. Because I've just got these off the, well, they're not off the printer. They have been printed and then they've been dried and cured. Well, washed and cured. So now I just need to go through and take all the supports off and then find bases that they can go on. Because these are some free STLs that the guys who do Warframe were doing. And I'm not into Warframe at all, but I like to look at these models. They look like they could be quite fun and interesting to paint. So, you know, for free, sure. And they came with like pre-supported. So, supports you as to be careful. It's so brittle. Sometimes they'll just come off, and sometimes they kind of snap as they pull stuff off. But yeah, so you literally just hit print. You don't even have to do anything in the software. It does it all for you, which is great. You know, I love it when companies do that. As a marketing thing goes, you know how to market yourself to nerds when you go, well, you know, we're assuming most nerds have thing. And what I didn't think to check though was the how they've done the feet, because it looks like the feet the base. That could be annoying because I always float mine a bit. Playing Warframe right now. I've dabbled in it. Oh no, there we go. Come on. Couldn't tell you what these characters were called. I can't remember. But yeah, so forget who it is who makes Warframe, but they were doing these 3 STLs. Let me get up and you grumble that. Doing these 3 STLs for you to print at home. They were also selling the minis on the website. Yeah, so you're gonna have to just do. Yeah, I'm glad I'm wearing my glasses. Just gonna have to sand those down and then make support. I think make some kind of base. So that's, yeah, I don't know what the kind of deal is with these. Knowing video game designers, I imagine they'll have amazingly pert buttocks and big boobs. Well, the female characters will anyway. Though knowing Warframe, it will just be
Very strange. So, like the texture on her armor, see that could be a lot of fun. But that's why I kind of got these, because I thought it'd be something different. Yeah, I don't mess with Games Workshop. 17 process. Don't mess with Games Workshop, they'll send you to. Yeah. Although I bet if I searched on Thingiverse, there will be plenty of iterations of Games Workshop STLs on there. I don't know why they don't, get on that, really. It'd be a good thing where, like, on the Games Workshop website, you could just download or buy, or they should do, like, a freebie one, because that would get people into it. But also, like, have the option to buy, sorry, pulling supports out of some poor woman's buttocks here. Have the option to buy Warhammer as STL files and print it yourself. I know, part of the building it and stuff is, but the thing is, they won't ever do that because they'll lose one of their biggest profit things, because the cost of manufacture for a sprue full of models is next to nothing, and then they sell them for, the ridiculous prices that they do. So, when something costs you equivalent of about 5 cents to make, and you sell it for $20, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Yeah, you're not going to really want to give people a chance to do it themselves. Got a call in the morning to move a bit. Oh, good luck with that. Why not? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, thanks for coming along, John Doe. Take care. Really appreciate your tips and joining. It was great talking to you. Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, if we've got, we're in that generation where more and more hobbyist modelers and things like that have got 3D printers. So why not? Even if it means that you sell the models for, you sell the STL files for more than the models, that's fine, because I get that. So the moment you sell the digital file, at that point, they're not gonna buy that digital file again. Makes sense. But then I suppose also, it's how do you do it in a way that doesn't allow people to then just share the digital file amongst all their mates? Because that's the other thing, is what's to stop you then sharing the STL file for all your friends, or so I don't know, you'd have to almost have like an app or something where, like, the Games Workshop have their own 3D printer app, and you have like a license for it or something. I don't know. They would have to. I both get why and also don't get why. It's a lot. And to be fair, they seem to be making quite a lot of money doing things the way they are. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. Like, bits of support in my brain. I'll move around after this. Yeah. Would recommend, if you do download these STLs for Warframe and print them yourself, go with the unsupported ones, because I was just lazy and I just went, oh wow, they've done them supported, and I've just popped them in and printed those. Go with the unsupported ones, support them yourself, and raise them up off the bottom boards, because I'm going to have to do quite a lot of faffing to get these usable. Like, I'm going to have to sand these right down, which I wouldn't have had to do had I just printed them how I would normally. They're not bad. They're not the best. I don't think they're printed as nice as the Hero Forge ones that are, or the all my D&D ones. They're all from Hero Forge. I think they've printed loads nice. potential finger snappage there. These are the things to be careful with. I mean, usually I'd be using flush cutters to get rid of most of this, but can't be bothered. I'm being lazy. I'm just kind of chat. This is more of a just chatting live stream now while I do this, because I've done the painting. And I don't really fancy starting another one, going down that rabbit hole, because it's getting late. Well, I say it's getting late. It's something on 7 o'clock. It's later. It's too late to start another model, put it that way. No, any more supports in your grundle? No. But yeah. So if you're still watching, what kind of lucky knife for you? Do you mainly play Warhammer? Do you just get it for the paintings like me, or do you play other tabletops? Is it, you know, what's your jam? What's your poison when it comes to nerdery? I feel like nerds are very much like when people have got glasses and you're all like, oh, what prescription are you? Who's more blind? It's like, I like to do that with people's nerd habits. You know, what gets your nerd going? Yeah, video gamer. Play a lot of video games as well. Not as many as I used to, but got back into Sea of Thieves recently. Playing lots of Sea of Thieves again. I do like a game that is both the most relaxing but also the most stressful thing at the same time. This guy's weird. He's got toes. See, I think it's this Warframe's basically Space Ninjas, isn't it? Which is a bit confusing. It's like suits and outfits like killer heels. Yeah. There we go. We got some, you know, Warframe dudes there now, all lined up to paint at some point. Now I've got a desk covered in little tiny bits of resin. No matter how hard you try, you're always going to look for something on the floor. No, it all does seem to have gone in that carry bag. Amazing. I'll run the Who around after stream. But yeah, never played a tabletop game before. Really got into Warhammer when I met with my internet friend in the UK and we decided to go to a Warhammer store. Fair enough. Played your first Warhammer game last Sunday. Okay, only other real exposure to Warhammer was Space Marines 2. Yeah, I've heard that game's really good. So that's cool. So you only played your first actual game of it literally last Sunday. Wow, okay. So, I mean, I've never... Well, I played Warhammer once, a very long time ago. And I remember finding the whole thing very frustrating. Because I remember basically playing it on a mate's snooker table. He got all the scenery out and everything. Basically turned the snooker table into a giant battlefield. And we were playing it. And there was just so much of this kind of like, look, have I hit you? Have I done this? And him going... about 4 hours later, after getting out like a ruler and measuring tape and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I forgot to say, look, have I hit you? No. And I'm like, okay, I'm bored now. Can we, you know, go play on your SNES? And that there you go. For reference, that's how long ago it was. He owned a SNES. So yeah, that was when I last played Warhammer. Was when SNESes were commonplace.
So it's been a while. Yeah, I mainly just play TTRPGs. So obviously started off with D&D, which was great, but very much fell into the trap of forever DM. Very rarely got to be a player, and then now I tend to play more like Call of Cthulhu and stuff like that. I love Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, that's it. So I think on that note, I'm going to get off because I need to get some dinner. I've done what I needed to do today, which was to paint. You shouldn't be there. You're not done. It was to paint a dude, and I think I've done it mostly successfully. He's got one weird eyebrow, but I'll let that slide. And I managed to update the magic coming from my Tiefling Warlock so it looked more like magic. So I'm happy. Difficult part for me was remembering all the different stratagems. Like, yeah, this is it. There's just too much going on. But then D&D's got so many rules, and I just found I didn't struggle learning those. But yeah, anyway, on that note, do chuck us a subscribe or whatever, because I'll probably do this again soon, because it's quite easy to set up, and I'll work it out. I might just use this camera for going forward, because actually I don't think I needed to be as close as I was, and it's nice having all the paints and stuff on display. So yeah, do drop us a subscribe so you know when I'm doing this again, because I don't have a schedule, unfortunately. I'm just more trying it out. Yeah, it's good when you've got a decent person helping you. But yeah, love you all. Thanks ever so much for joining. And have a wonderful remainder of your week. And if I don't see you again before Christmas, have a great Christmas, New Year if you celebrate it, or whatever you do during this time of year, enjoy it. So take care. See you soon.